Alright, listen, I already know. 3 months. I just needed a break, okay? Let's not talk about it. Let's not get into it. Today I want to talk about some of y'all's fave influencers being a bad influence. Speaking of influencers being a bad influence, one that is not a bad influence, one that is a good influence is Raw Beauty Christie. I picked up this palette while I was, in quarantine a couple weeks ago. Still in quarantine, will forever be in quarantine. She's amazing. She made a double-sided palette, which, like, who? First of all, how dare you? Look at that. Double-sided. Innovation that excites. Okay, I already filmed this video once, and it was a little mean. I finished it, and I was like, so I'm gonna roll it back, and I'm gonna start over, okay? I did that while I was doing, like, my base and my eyebrows, because I was so angry, my eyebrows came out a little angry today. But I'm gonna put on my eye makeup while I calm down a little bit and talk about this. So, I'm gonna talk about y'all's fave influencers being bad influences, being problematic, etc. and etc. This started, I mean, it's been a problem forever, let's not pretend like it hasn't, but this really, like, grinded my gears. I think it was earlier this week, Jaclyn Hill had her 30th birthday party at her house, which, on the surface, nothing wrong with that. Except she had a ton of people over, and she put it on her Instagram story. Why? Why would you do that? If y'all don't know, Jaclyn Hill lives in Tampa. She's very open about that. It's not new tea. She lives in Tampa. I love Tampa. Went to college in Tampa. Go Bulls. She lives in Tampa. And I don't know if y'all know this, but just about all of Florida is a mess right now with the pandemic. Like, literally, Jacksonville's on the list, Miami's on the list, Orange County, which is like Orlando, that's on the list, and Tampa, Hillsborough County's on the list of places that have very high number of cases right now. So when I saw her Instagram story where she was having this big old 30th birthday party for herself, I was like, I know this girl did not just do this.
Cut the cameras.
I know I'm imagining this. I know this isn't happening. Like, this ain't real. This really ain't real. But it is. I watched it a couple times and saw the amount of people there, and I just got, like, ticked off. And, like, normally, listen, I know people, like, Jaclyn Hill, to drag her is low-hanging fruit. I respect the woman. She has made much more money than me. I have a lot of, admiration for somebody who can be one of really the first beauty influencers that started doing collaborations, has their own makeup line. Like, the girl's done it all, right? I mean, we can't discredit Jaclyn Hill for the things that she's done and the way that she's broken into the industry. However, I can hold her accountable. I'm going to talk about a few people, not just Jaclyn, okay? But she really had a huge 30th birthday at her house. And I know some of the Jaclyn stans are going to be like, well, what if everybody got tested and they were negative? It's not that simple. Okay, and we know this. It doesn't matter if they all went and got tested beforehand, because number one, if they did the rapid test, and let's say they did it that day, it could be a false negative. Or even something as small as them, doing the rapid test, it's negative, drive home, or drive to the party, and on the way there, stop at Starbucks, get a little pinkety-drinkety, and then show up at the party. What if you were exposed when you went to Starbucks? What if you were exposed when you went to McDonald's beforehand? What if you were exposed running into Target and getting Jaclyn her gift, which I'm sure they got her better gifts than moves at Target, but you know. Like, what if you were exposed by the Amazon delivery guy that came to your house beforehand? Like, there's just too many variables that you cannot control like that. And to have this big old party, like, whatever, Jacqueline, have the big party. I think there might still be green on this brush, and I think I might have just got myself in trouble. But that's fine. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Anyway, well, have your 30th birthday party, Jacqueline. Like, congratulations. 30's a big deal, I know. Dirty 30, whatever. Don't put it on Instagram. Girl, come on now. You're a role model. You're an influencer, and you're in a hot zone. Like, don't put it on Instagram. What were you thinking? Like, have the party and keep it to yourself. You're showing all of these people that follow you, who most of them are going to be young, you know, or like my age in their 20s. You're showing them that, oh yeah, it's Tampa and whatever, but that doesn't stop us from having a party. And then they think that it's also okay to go out. And that mentality is why people in Florida, and if you're not from Florida, first of all, how did you get here? But if you're not from Florida and you're looking at this, you're like, oh, it must not be that bad. Or you understand that Florida is like an actual mess. Like, this place is crazy. I know that this was not her intent. She was just putting it on the internet because if you don't put it on the internet, it didn't happen. But you have to think about the repercussions of the stuff that you do. And I know that people have had this conversation on the internet with Jacqueline Hill before. But, like, come on. You know, you have teachers fighting to, you know, keep themselves and their families safe while you're out here perpetuating the idea that it's gonna be just fine if we all party together. And this is why nobody takes it seriously. And people are like, just open the schools back up. It's gonna be fine. I'm not one of those people that leaves a gap between their eyebrow and their eyeshadow. I just don't. I feel like that's wasted real estate. Jacqueline, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Like, I'm 28, you're 30. Like, we're both kind of in the same boat right now. We both know that that was inappropriate to put online. Just don't post it. You know? Do it and don't post it. Don't perpetuate the idea that it's safe to go out in Florida right now, because it's not. And this, y'all, this is not the place to come here and argue with me about whether or not this is real, okay? I think this makes me a little more upset than your average person, because in the end of February, I had to go to the hospital for my gallbladder. I had to get it removed because she quit, girl. She quit. She was done. She had it with me. 28 years of service was all she could provide, and she had to retire. And I know that, like, having your gallbladder removed has turned into a personality trait of mine. I'll own it. So when I had to get my gallbladder removed, I had to go to 2 hospitals. And like I said, this is the end of February. This is when COVID started to be a thing. It started to get a little bit of attention on the news. There was like maybe a handful of cases in the United States, like, but it was not really that big of a deal. Brian was actually supposed to fly to California the week that I got my gallbladder out. That's how much of a non-issue it was. So I go to the first hospital and the place is like slammed. It's the one right by our house. And they were able to do like an ultrasound on me, but they had no rooms. They did not have enough doctors or nurses. They put me on a cot. I think I said this in the story. You can watch that other video if you're interested. But they put me on a cot in a hallway with a bunch of other people. and they all were like coughing, like having issues. A lot of people were there because they thought that they might have this new coronavirus that everybody was talking about. Most of them just had the flu, which I know because we were literally all packed in there like sardines. HIPAA was being violated left and right because you could hear everybody's diagnosis because we all just had to sit in one big room together. There was no rooms for anybody. And me, gallbladder is popping, on the verge of being septic, skin's yellow, as close to death as I think I've ever been. They still didn't have any rooms for me because there were that many people that were sick. So I'm in a hallway full of people with respiratory issues and they don't really know what's going on. They don't have any tests to see if it's COVID. They just assume that it probably is that or something else. So, like, I have stared into the mouth of the beast, if it were, before Brian took me from that hospital to another hospital farther away but with less people, and got me an actual room, and I was able to get my gallbladder out because that place was slammed. But that's all to say that this is very real, and the hospitals in Florida right now are still full. And even if, you know, everybody at your home, let's say that all the people that were at this party have been quarantining in your house this entire time, or for the past 2 weeks, so that y'all can have this big blowout, okay? What about the people that came to decorate your house? Because I know you because you put your whole life on the internet. I know that you didn't decorate this by yourself. I know that you didn't cater this by yourself. I know that you had outside people come in and provide services for you, even if it was a maid to come in and clean up before or after. You know? You are putting yourself at risk every time you do that. And when these influencers go out and go to these parties or, you know, host these parties, it's a big ol' middle finger to the rest of us that have been locked in our house since March. And that doesn't mean to say that, like, those of you that have had to go to work because, like, in the middle of this, I'm not talking to you, obviously. You are an essential worker, essential personnel, you have to go to work. I'm about to be one in August, you know? It is what it is. I'm talking about these millionaire YouTubers that could stay in their home for months on end and pump out content and still make money. They are the people that should be staying home. And they are responsible for being role models to the general public. Like, I know that the number one thing is like, I didn't sign up to be a role model. You know what? None of us did. I'm a teacher. I didn't sign up to be a role model, but guess what? I have to be, because I teach over 100 kids a day for longer than most of them will see their parents when they get home. I need to be a good influence on them. I can't be a bad influence on them. It would be morally and ethically irresponsible for me to be a bad influence on my kids because I'm the person that they see all day. And influencers need to start thinking the same way. They want to be an influencer and have influence until it means that they have to do something that they don't want to do. They want the money and they want the clout, but they don't want the responsibility. And I'm talking about, you know, the Jaclyn Hills. I'm going to show my age real quick. Some TikToker, I have no idea who these people are, okay? I just know that they're big people on TikTok. I think most of them are young. Editing Chelsea here. Apparently there was like 67 of these people inside of a steakhouse in Los Angeles. People from the Hype House, Larry Merritt, James Charles, Tana Mongeau, Nikita Dragon, Charlie and Dixie D'Amelio, and Emma Chamberlain went to this thing, and a bunch of other people. Looking at pictures, and nobody wore a mask, so, you know, great influence. So one of them had a birthday party in LA, another hotspot, another cesspool full of COVID cases, but nobody can bother to stay home, so they all had to have a little party. Just irresponsible. Like, as irresponsible as you can get, honestly. And the paparazzi's like interviewing them while they're waiting to get into this restaurant or waiting for each other outside. I really don't know. And they're like either not wearing, half of them aren't wearing masks to begin with, or they're taking them off to talk to the reporter. And you can't tell me that they didn't go inside and keep them off because they got a full face of makeup underneath. Like, why did you do your makeup underneath if you're not going to show anybody? I'm doing mine because I'm not going anywhere. Haven't done it in months because who's going to see it? Nobody. And I don't want to get it all over the inside of my mask, but most of them were not wearing masks. And I know James Charles was there, and isn't he like the most subscribed to beauty person? Bad influence, man. It's a bad influence. It's a bad look, and I don't care for it. I don't know. I really just like the way that this looks blended out. I know it looks a little muddy on camera, but in person it just looks really... It gives me like modern Renaissance vibes. But anyway, bad influence. Same one, but it has been a bad influence forever, is Jake Paul. He had a party at his little house. By little, I mean mansion. He had a party, invited a bunch of people. I think Tana was also there. Tana. I don't know why I'm acting like I expect more from these people. He had a party. Same thing. You're in LA, dude. Like, what are we doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you like this? It takes nothing to just not post anything on the internet. Because I know that a lot of people are doing stuff and just not posting it. And, I mean, that would be the socially responsible thing to do, to not make it look like, oh, Jake Paul's going out, I can go out. Mom, he's going out. It's not that big of a deal. Like, come on. You have a responsibility to show your young, impressionable audience that you are continuing to party in the midst of a pandemic where a lot of them have either not been able to walk across the stage for graduation, have family members that are sick that they're taking care of, or have lost family members. Like, again, that's a big ol' middle finger to those people. I have students that did not get to walk across that stage. We all had to sit at home and watch their graduation, their pictures go by on the TV. That's not fair to them. And it didn't have to be that way if people would stay home. But y'all have to put your stuff on the internet. You have to put your business on the internet, because if you don't, it didn't happen. And you want the clout and you want the money until it comes down to having to do something socially responsible. I have to be a responsible person too, but the difference is you get paid millions of dollars and I don't make a living wage. But we're both role models here. You see the issue? I've literally been locked in my home since March. You think I don't want to go to Target? You think I don't want to go to parties? You think I don't want to go on vacation? Oh my gosh, a vacation? But it just baffles the mind that people don't think before they do this. And like I said, it wouldn't even be that big of a deal if they just didn't post it. Just keep it to yourself, you know? But no, we gotta put it online, we gotta get the clout, we gotta get the clicks, the likes, the energy. The stands will never tell you that you're doing anything wrong. And then when you get confused because cases won't go down, nothing will change. I feel horrible saying this because I do not wish this on anybody. I've had family members that have gotten COVID, and it sucks. It really sucks. I'm lucky enough that I have not had anybody close to me suffer permanent damage, because some people have like permanent asthma now, or have like suffered like lung damage or heart damage. I'm lucky that I haven't lost anybody close to me, but there are people that have. And until something happens to one of them or somebody close to them, they will not take Ooh, my ceiling really be cracking. Anyway, until something bad happens to them or somebody that they care about, I feel like it just doesn't hit close to home for them, and it doesn't seem real. And honestly, like, if you've taken any human development class or child development class, I took a couple in college, obviously, teacher college. That's kind of just the way that young people's brains work. You know, that frontal lobe, she's not developed yet. So you think you're invincible. It is what it is. It's science. It's the way that our young minds work. You hear that all the time when you're in high school. That's why, you know, high schoolers get hurt a lot of times because they take risks without thinking of the ramifications or implications of those risks. I lost friends in high school because of that, unfortunately, and until they see it firsthand, it's just not going to be real to them. And I hope that that does not happen to them, truly and honestly, because, like, I would not wish this on anybody. It's incredibly scary. It's incredibly expensive. If we want to talk about, like, healthcare in the United States for a second, going to the hospital for my gallbladder cost me a fortune that will take me years to pay off. But nobody, I don't know, unless it really affects you, you don't really care. And then you have people like my parents who are terrified to leave the house because my mom has pre-existing conditions, multiple. They're older, they're more at risk, but my dad has to keep working, and he has to continue to leave my house, and every time he does, he puts himself and my mom at risk. But, I mean, they have to make money. But if y'all that could stay home would stay home, we could end this. Like, literally. I don't understand why it's even an argument anymore. Like, I don't get it. I will never get it. I will never understand why people want to argue with scientists. I've just watched so many influencers the past couple weeks go places and do stuff, and they can't even use the excuse of, well, you know, it's dying down, because it's not. It gets worse every day in Florida. I haven't honestly been watching a lot of other states that closely because, you know, it's hard enough just to watch my own state. But, like, it's hard, and I get it. It sucks to be inside. It really does, especially when you're used to being able to go out and do whatever you want. And, you know, there's a lot of mental health aspects to this. It's very difficult to sit inside all the time. And, I mean, y'all may not like this hot take, and that's fine. That's why it's a hot take. People are gonna disagree with me. But this is just the way that I feel. There is nothing I want more than to be back in my classroom with my kids starting a new year. Everybody together in the same room, hanging out. You know, there's nothing I want more than that. I've wanted that since I was in the hospital in February. But until people start taking this seriously, wearing masks and staying home, especially in Florida, Arizona, California, all these places that are just growing their numbers, we won't get there. And unfortunately, they're probably going to open the schools in August, and we're going to see the biggest spike we've ever seen in Florida. And I won't talk about what that has done for my mental state, because I got to go into the trenches and deal with that. But it just sucks to see people like Jaclyn Hill and Tana and James, and, well, I don't expect a lot from Jake, but, you know, it sucks to see these people have so much pull and such a young audience and such a responsibility to be showing their audience what they should be doing, and instead showing their audience the opposite. It's irresponsible, in my opinion. And that's my hot take. So if you follow these people, just keep in mind that just because you see them doing this does not mean that it is a good idea. Please stay home and please wear a mask. And I don't want to have a discussion about it. If you have a medical condition where you can't wear a mask, don't wear a mask. But if you can stay home, stay home. Let me zoom in on my eye look. Oh, oops. I think that came out pretty good. The shimmer is the shade Cafe Disco. On the colorful side, I kind of highlighted the brown bone with the white. Yes, I do have a lot of texture on my face, but I think it came out pretty good. And I already put my mascara on because I'd be dumb like that. Stay home, stay safe, and pay attention to your favorite influencers.